Welcome to Queen City Cyber Consulting's channel.
Welcome back to Queen City Cyber Consulting's channel, where we share many different types of information. In the last video, I shared some threat intelligence, and in this video, I am also going to share some threat intelligence because threat intelligence is important. Although being important, it is often overlooked by many cybersecurity programs and also by IT staff. And when you see something like this come out, as I said in the last video I put up, this is a joint cybersecurity advisory authored by some fairly big names: the FBI, the National Security Agency, two three-letter agencies, and the Cyber National Mission Force. Don't know much about them myself, but seeing that they're working in conjunction with the FBI and the NSA, okay. Anyway, this bulletin, which came out yesterday, is titled China-Linked Hacking Group QTFY Targets Military and Critical Infrastructure with Malicious Distributed Systems. Bingo, bango, bongo. So they're using these malicious distributed systems to attack different targets. That's the title in a nutshell. They give you a little bit of advice on how to report this. If you've never reported a crime to the Internet Crime Complaint Center or IC3, you definitely should have them in your playbooks and in your incident response plan to report them. Also, your local FBI field office. If you don't know them, get to know them. Reach out, have a contact number, even a name. If you can get a name of an agent that you can contact directly, that helps immensely. Now, this is set up as clear, the TLP, which means that this information has been vetted. It's not top secret or anything like that. So, what's going on? Well, the FBI, the NSA, and the Cyber National Mission Force put this bulletin together because what they're seeing and what they're seeing in the reports is this Chinese-linked hacking group, QTFY, is actively attacking a variety of networks. And they list these down here. They are targeting systems in critical infrastructure sectors, including defense and industrial-based communications, government, and higher education. You'll see later on, this same group even scanned a hospital network looking for a way to get in. They give us some really good TTPs, tactics, techniques, and procedures, and indicators of compromises and IOCs in this bulletin. The basic steps that they provide here are ones that everyone should already be doing right here. Apply the latest software, firmware updates to your organization's devices. Should already be being done. Protect operational information from unintentional disclosure via internet-facing applications, and isolate your critical systems from your edge devices, which means your edge devices that are internet-facing should not have direct contact with your critical systems internally. Then those are all just basic cyber hygiene. Unfortunately, in the world today, basic cyber hygiene is an afterthought. So let's browse through some of this. We've already talked about the background. They've been very, very active. They do have business relationships with the following entities in the PRC enabler ecosystem. PRC is just another name for the Chinese nation state. And you can see all these different groups that they are connected with. Their targeting activity. They give us basically a timeline of these different attacks all the way back into 2018. But we're not going to cover a lot of that because I don't want to bore you. And I know our attention spans these days are kind of slow. So let's just look at this year, February. They utilize a tool called QScan. to exploit beyond trust remote support and vulnerability against a U.S. state government. They also targeted a U.S. water district. Remember a recent event where multiple states had their water systems targeted? Everyone instantly went, oh, it's Iran. Maybe not. March of 2026. Conducted vulnerability scanning of the U.S. Senate and as I said earlier, a U.S. hospital system. After they did the vulnerability scanning, they tried to get into the networks. They failed, thankfully. June, just 2 months ago, they used QScan again to conduct vulnerability scanning of a U.S. election system. Doesn't say which U.S. election system, but somewhere in the United States. They scanned it, looking for vulnerabilities, and then came back and tried to get into the environment and failed again, thankfully. So this is a pretty active group out there. So QScan, if you didn't know, it's a distributed system that processes a large volume of internet scanning tasks, including being used for malicious penetration testing. The domain qtproxy.org has a bunch of subdomains listed to it. All of these are included in the indicators of compromise, which we will get to here quickly. Gives you a nice graphic on how this breaks it down. The Qt router product is a network traffic obfuscation network that includes routers with custom open write software. As of June, again 2 months ago, these Qt router devices are being used to authenticate to administrative servers on the proxy node management system at Qt Proxy. So you can see as you read through this, you're getting a lot of insight into the tactics, techniques, and procedures that this particular threat actor group is utilizing, which means if you take this intelligence and use it, you can better protect your network. Now, we've seen critical infrastructure, we've seen the U.S. Senate, we've seen a hospital system already. How many of those kinds of systems are under your purview? Are in your IT system, inside, in your network that you're responsible for? If so, this right here is an excellent resource to be better able to defend your environment. Here's a nice graphic again of the Qt router obfuscation network and how it works. Again, I'm not going to waste your time and go through all this. You can read it for yourself. Here's the interesting one. They give us a good indicator of compromise table right here. You get IP addresses, you get domain names, as you can see here. You can see when they're first seen, and then they list them out whether they're active or not. And there's some dates in here, like this one's 3/3 of 2027. They give an explanation for that later. So not only do you get IPs and domains that you can block at your firewalls, you can use to do threat hunts through your environment. Let's see, keep moving on down here. Here's another list of the domains right here. Again, block these. There's absolutely no sense in anyone in your environment contacting any of these things. If you don't believe the NSA, FBI, then do your own follow-up research. Definitely run it through VirusTotal, a tool like that, to ensure that they're still active and still being used maliciously. And as you can see, there's a lot of information in here. Scrolling on through. And then we get to the tools. And they give us some hashes, SHA-256. With these, you can update your EDR. You can do threat hunts. You can go through and look and see if any of these hashes are showing up in your environment. And if you already know your environment well, which I hope you do, then you should know whether any of these tools should be in your environment in the first place. If not, just block the hash. Carbon Black, Sentinel-1, Microsoft Defender, They all provide the opportunity to block by hash. Don't ignore that. Use it. Now, they also reference the MITRE attack framework, which I covered in another video. And this is the MITRE attack framework in case you didn't watch that video or you don't know what it is. Hopefully, anyone working in cybersecurity at least knows this exists. This gives you a great methodology for performing threat hunts. And that actually is what they provide you with here. Some different things to look for, like exploitation of public-facing applications right here. They may run remote commands affecting the target system in a minor way, just to confirm a vulnerability exists. Do you monitor for that? Web shells, still big out there. We ran numerous incidents where web shells were utilized both for initial access and also to create backdoors. So you definitely need to be checking for that. Now, incident response process, again, they give you a really nice ensemble of methodology for laying out an incident response to this. We're not going to go in depth into this in this video. The mitigations, another important section. They go over in depth, like they even give you a nice link on how to detect and prevent web shell malware, which is right over here. All you have to do is click that link and it takes you right to it. You have protect your operational information, isolate your critical systems from edge devices, and hunt. Go on a hunt. Look for these indicators of compromise that are contained within this bulletin throughout your entire environment and see if you may have already been a victim. If you are, then you need to move on and contact the FBI, gather your evidence, and provide it to them so they can include you in any future bulletins and also provide updates. Validate your security controls, a big one that's often overlooked with these kinds of bulletins. Not only should you apply mitigations, the authoring agencies, again, the FBI, the NSA, and the other group, recommend exercising, testing, and validating your securities program against the threat behaviors in this very bulletin. So you go and you select the attack technique described in the advisory. Check your security technologies against the technique. Test your technologies to make sure they spot it and you see it. Analyze it, update it if necessary, and then repeat the process. That gives you a really good roadmap to enhancing and improving your cybersecurity performance. So this is another really good bulletin that was issued. I'll include a link to this in the description in this video. Don't overlook this kind of information. It's valuable. It's infinitely valuable in the world today. And if you neglect it, if you aren't using it, you aren't updating and testing your systems, when these come out, that's on you. And if you are eventually breached by these, what they are called advanced persistent threats, and that's what this hacking group QTFY is, then it's on you. And you'd better check with your cyber insurance policy to make sure that you're not required actually to perform this exact kind of function in your environment or lose your coverage. I've seen it happen. Forewarned is forearmed. Well, welcome to the last Thursday in August of this year. Thank you, FBI, NSA, and the other group for putting out this bulletin and allowing our defenders, our cyber defenders, to better protect their networks. This is Queen City Cyber Consulting signing off. Go forth and conquer.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.